Hi there, every one of you. We meet again, and this week, and this YouTube video that I'm sending you is to talk about or discuss or bring to your mind the words that Christ said: "The truth will set you free." So maybe we have thought about it, or maybe not. But here are some of the thoughts that I have about this great line that Jesus spoke. The truth will set you free. And the truth that we are talking about is your truth. What is your truth? We shall never get to the whole truth, but at least we can try to find out what is my truth. And to do that, we start with a basic premise. Who do you really think deep within yourself you are? Are you one being among billions of other beings? Are you just a fly in the universe? Are you just a speck of dust without meaning floating around the planet Earth? And if you consider that, then you have no meaning at all. If you consider that, you have no truth at all. If you consider that you are nobody and you are nothing, or you can look at your daily life. Just this morning, I was speaking to a friend, and we we came to discuss this point that we are not alone. You know that. And each of us during the course of a day interact and communicate maybe with between 10 to 50 people on an average, or maybe more, just for argument's sake, but we are always in contact with somebody, somewhere, sometime. Multiply it by how many people you communicate with during the course of a year. Multiply that with how many people each one of us communicates or interacts with during the course of a lifetime. Could it be 5,000? The whole lifetime, say an average lifetime between 55 to 75 years. If that is true, each one of us is actually interacting with a million people or more, maybe even 2 million people during the course of a lifetime. You are communicating with them, you're telling them, you're speaking to them, you're expressing your thoughts to them, or if nothing else, at least you're showing your being to them. And not only that, as you express yourself to this during the course of a lifetime to thousands of people, remember that those thousands also are are communicating and telling their truth and exposing their being and interacting with another thousands of people. So through you as the center of a network of communication during the course of a lifetime, you are communicating and interacting with a billion or more people. You are a you are the center of a network in which we are all joined by communication. So we can now come to that there is nothing and there is nowhere where I can go without communicating. I can decide to communicate I am nothing, and as you communicate that you're nothing, the fruits of what you are communicating will come back to you. You can decide, therefore, what you wish to communicate by deciding who you are. Never underestimate the power of your truth. Your truth is specifically your truth. It cannot be another person's truth. And the truth, therefore, could be you're telling the whole world, you know what? I'm nobody. Okay, you're communicating that. Or you're telling them, my thoughts mean nothing. Or you're telling them, I'm a lost creature. Or you're telling them I'm an idiot. Or you're saying I'm ignorant. Or I'm a moron. And that is what you are communicating to the world. And the world then takes your communication and shapes your truth by telling you whether they agree with you or don't agree with you. Therefore, within 5 years, if you keep on communicating and receiving the communication back, and as you begin to take back the communication that you get and the truth that somebody else is telling you, then you can continue to be a moron or an ignoramus or nothing. Or you can begin to say, I'm going to listen to the communication and the truth that is being told to me about me. And as you get into that and you listen and you begin to accept the truth, and your truth therefore gets more and more refined as the weeks and the months and the years roll by. Imagine if you do it consistently for a number of years, then the inner reality, the real you, the real truth of you will be exposed to the world, and therefore you have to be able to be articulate when you please to be. You can decide, I will tell the truth about myself within a period of a week or a year or 5 years, because I am going to listen to the universe and to the beings who are around me who will teach me to be who I am. It is almost many of us, therefore, before we speak or before we communicate, are afraid. We are afraid of the truth. We are afraid of what will people say. We are afraid whether we will make an impression on them or not. We are afraid of reactions. You know what? Nobody can get rid of your fear. Nobody. You can decide whether to be afraid or whether to seek protection. Nothing on earth can protect you from your own fear. Many people believe that it is not safe to speak. Many people believe that it is more easy to pass life just by keeping my opinions to myself, keeping my truth to myself. And this therefore creates within you shackles of which you become a prisoner of saying, I will not let my thoughts or my words go out from me because I do not want to face the consequences. The thing is, whether you speak your truth or whether you do not, there are consequences nonetheless. There are consequences for not speaking, and there are consequences for speaking. There are consequences for exposing your truth. There are consequences for not exposing your truth and standing by that. So let us see. If you don't express your truth and you keep them hidden, you become more and more lonely, you become more and more depressed, you become more and more a person who, at the end of 20 years or 30 years, becomes a kind of a being who is full of resentment, doesn't know what to do except feed on the nourishment day by day, the nourishment of resentment. How long will this resentment last? How long can you keep it? You are therefore, by the consequences of keeping your truth to yourself, is becoming a hard ball of resentment, of which you become a prisoner. You become a slave of your own resentment, and the resentment within you drives you nuts. Do you want that? Or do you want to have a mode of being in which you say, I'm going to pay the price to be who I am, whatever the consequences? Because the other consequence I don't want. I don't want to be a person full of resentment. So here you have a choice and say, okay, whatever happens, in speaking the truth, and you speak your truth, you have no access to the outcome of the truth. You will never know what the outcome of your truth will be. But one thing you're sure, you will not be a slave of the truth that you're keeping to yourself. You will not be a slave of anxiety, of resentment, of frustration. You will be a kind of another being who is in the process of emptying herself or himself in order to become and in order to show the world the reality of yourself. Let us not hide, therefore, from ourselves. Let us not be slaves. This is a major part of our lives to step away from being a slave and to be the truth of who we are. My dear friends, the price you want to pay if you're willing to believe the truth, that is the cornerstone of society. Why is society for the past 100 years going nowhere? For 100 years, we are inflicting pain and suffering, at least for the last 100 years. And so this infliction of pain and suffering is caused by keeping our truth hidden, by being afraid of being who we are, by casting something on somebody else and say they are bad people, they will not accept me, they are not good people, and therefore I am living in a world. So if that is where you believe you are living, so be it. As you go on exposing your truth and taking the leap of knowing that the truth will set you free, remember that in this voyage or in the journey that you're taking to kind of a self discovery, by exposing the truth, by speaking your truth, it's not an easy way, but it's a way you can say I have chosen. It's a way you can say I have now decided to self redeem myself. I have now decided to follow the path that I wish to follow, and I can follow no other path than to be my true self, than to speak what I believe at the moment, what I stand for at the moment, and facing the consequences. And if need be, I need to change. Imagine the changes that will come if you are attentive to the world and to the people around you who desire that only for you. There'll be plenty of pushbacks. There'll be plenty of of fear. All these things will come your way. Are you therefore going to give in to that? We see plenty of that, my dear friends, but we need not be like that. Begin therefore to concentrate on who you should be. Put something there and say, this is who I want to be. Kind of develop a kind of a mental picture and say, within 10 years or 5 years or 3 years or 1 year, this is what I would, this is what I will, I will be, this is what I will show myself to the world to be. You, you can always, decide also to cover yourself and say, oh, nobody knows my future. You do not know what troubles I've gone through. You do not know what kind of parents I have. You have no idea of my alcoholic mother, or you have no idea of my teachers that taught me. You have no idea of how I was mistreated as a child. You have no clue at all. Yes, it's like, well, you can you decide in spite of all that has gone, can you decide now, now I throw away all that. I know that it has shaped me, but I decide at this moment to go behind all that has shaped me and to give myself the right message. The message is, I have understood how much potential there is within me. And I'm not going to sit down. I'm not going to weep. I'm not going to say, oh my God. I'm not going to be a victim of my past. I'm the master of my life right now. And I decide to expose my truth to the world. Exposing your truth to the world has many other has a great consequences. You see, in the book of Genesis Bible we read, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. In the Gospel of John, in the beginning was the Word, and out from that Word by which God communicated Himself, or told the truth about Himself, from the chaos that was there, order took place. When you begin, my dear friends, to expose your truth and speak the truth of yourself from the chaos that you're in right now, may be created by a past, order will emerge. It has to emerge. But if you hide the truth, then you will be converting everything that is orderly into chaos. You can decide whether to live in chaos or to create an order in which you're the master of your life and you know where you're going. That will set straight out. That is better than having a good self-esteem. You will not be in a horrible position. You will be able to, because you have that, you will be able to undergo any kind of frustration. You will be able to undergo any kind of suffering and pain, and you'll feel good about it. And that's the whole thing. Pain and suffering are something that comes our way in order to polish us, to bring about the truth about us, and so that is reducing chaos to order. It's not, but you can do something about it. You can genuinely do something about it. And I think that all the evidence suggests that that's the case. So, my dear friends, all of us have been hit by people who have hurt us. All of us have come across people who are malevolent, who are bad, who are wicked. Okay, now we can decide to live with that, and sometimes that hurt that they give us remain with us for a long time. And sometimes they don't even decide to hurt us, but we have perceived that as hurt and made suffering our own. But there is more to you than the sufferings that somebody has inflicted upon you. There is more to you than bitterness. There is more to you that you can say, I have decided to recover. And that requires a kind of a discipline and intention. You can go further by your discipline, by day to day, and by your intention than you could ever imagine. And that's a principle upon which you should predicate your behavior. That's one of the things that really nice. Truthful conversations redeem people. Imagine two hypocrites meeting, each one telling a lie to the other. They, f- they fall, they fall. They are irredeemable. And so they have something else. You can immediately sense these people that they're not telling you the genuine truth of who they are. The truth may not be right or wrong, but it is your truth. And the best way to honor yourself is by telling your truth and waiting to be corrected and waiting to refine your truth. I take away the word correction, but we are constantly in a mode of refining ourselves, of being who we are. This may take a year or 2 years, but it involves therefore you talking to a person and talking to a person and talking to a person, and more you talk to, and we have therefore we have so many sacraments. We can talk to God, we can talk to people ordained, we can talk to people who are mentors, we can talk to them, and all you have to say to them is this is who I am, this is who I think I am, and this is who I want to be. Can you do that? This is who I think I am, and this is who I want to be. And I think I want to be my true self. And together with that conversation which we have, which we have in the sacrament of reconciliation, we go and we discuss what I am and what I wish to be. And in that, my dear friends, a clearing takes place, a sifting takes place, and then you can therefore be a successful person, not in the financial or the commercial or any a social aspect, but a successful person in the being that you really are. My dear friends, as we go to the closing of this talk, let us remember the old stories that we read. So I want to bring to you the story of Abraham. Abraham was living in a city that somehow he could not express his truth, or he could not find something that was beneficial to him. What did he do? He shifted and began to speak his truth in a land of strangers. He began to speak his truth to a land of strangers, alone, accepting that. He fought his way through. He went through all the suffering that was needed and spoke his truth to a land of strangers. Are you ready to be the modern day Abraham to the people that you meet every day? To go to people who are strangers, whom we do not know very much with, and speak your truth, and in that way create a new world called a new way of life, a new way of being. Remember that as if you become a new being, what I spoke at the beginning of this talk, you are therefore becoming a new being to a million people. And they, in their own way, in their own modality, will transform themselves into new being. You therefore become a kind of a savior. You become a kind of a redeemer to those people who are lost in the darkness and wait for the light of your truth to shine on them. Have you not read so many stories about knights in shining armor who go all out to kill the dragon? My dear friend, you're the knight, and the dragon is your fear. You're the knight that goes out to destroy the unreality about yourself. You're going out to destroy who you believe that you are. You're not a speck in the universe. You're not the dust. You're not alone. You're not. You have to kill that dragon. And the stories of past have told us that the knight in shining armor kills the dragon in order to collect the gold that the dragon is hiding. Once it collects the gold, what does this knight do? He goes to his community and gives the gold to them. Once you reach the truth, the gold that is there in your, then you begin to be of service to the community. But otherwise, you become a slave to yourself. You are afraid of the dragon. You'll always live with your head in the sand and fill your life with bitterness and resentment. We are not called for that. We are great. We are fantastic. We are beautiful. We are awesome. And so, my dear friends, speak the truth. Be the truth that you are and live the truth. And the truth will set you free.